Ruh-roh.
Didn't work that time.
Ruh-roh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Translated with a couple technical difficulties. Our goal here is to make things a little bit more digestible for the average user. So if you have any questions, first of all, you're welcome anytime to leave a comment in the chat, either on YouTube or Facebook. We'll be able to see it and respond immediately, or in a couple of minutes, maybe, depending on how deep in a topic we are, maybe talking about something else. My name is Auren. I'm the on-site and repair technician here. We also do a little bit of one-on-one training, so if you're here in the local area of Anacortes, Washington, we might be able to help you out.
All right. My name is Jay, and I'm the owner. CompuMatter has been here, bricks and mortar store on a main drag in Anacortes, Washington for 20 plus years, and I've been at it since the days of DOS. And like she said, the goal is to take the product of our knowledge and translate it in layperson's terms and make it a little easier for you to digest. Douglas is not, he's normally here with us, but Douglas is just feeling a little bit of a cold or something coming on, and he's afraid of the close proximity, and frankly, we can't do without one of our 3 employees, so I just as soon keep it that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe take us all out, who knows?
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Well, I guess today the main goal is discussing Wi-Fi and common Wi-Fi issues or cellular issues people may have with their phones and tablet devices, as we get asked that a lot. So I guess, first of all, if somebody has an issue with Wi-Fi at home on specifically their phone or tablet, what would you say?
All right, so if I'm sitting in the kitchen and I'm doing my thing and I'm struggling with the signal strength, my websites are coming up slowly, and I know that I have wireless in the house and it should be fine, and a lot of people will feel like it's a bit out of control, but my first reaction to that would be, okay, which is stronger? It really comes down to a simple equation. Which is stronger, my cell phone or my wireless? Because right now my phone is struggling with choosing one or the other, and I think it's choosing the wrong one. So I'll shut off the Wi-Fi and I'll see how that browser, how that website comes up. And if it still comes up super slow, then I'll shut off the cell phone and turn on the Wi-Fi, because one of those two are going to work, and it's locking on to whatever the weaker one is, which happens frequently. That's a regular happening. Mm-hmm. So that can happen while I'm at the store, at a coffee shop, at my house. It just won't happen when I'm on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
You said shut off the cell phone. I think a lot of people actually don't know what cellular mobile data is.
I apologize.
So that might also be a good thing to discuss here.
Shutting off the whole cell phone while you're trying to get a better signal is probably not the approach.
It could help, actually. Sometimes turning off your device and turning it back on if it's having some sort of bug.
Oh, well, that's true. I've got to say you could go outside and play and forget about the whole damn thing.
Well, that too. Yeah. Just go do something else. No, but the cellular or the mobile data has to do with whoever you're paying in order to make phone calls and text messages. So Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Google Fi, those sort of companies. There's actually a toggle in your phone settings in the Settings Gear app that you can turn off and on to test this. Just beware, if you turn it off and you forget about it and you're using the Wi-Fi, if somebody tries to give you a call and you don't have Wi-Fi calling turned on, you won't get the call. So you have to be careful with that.
Well, you turn on the Wi-Fi, and I've done that, where you turn on the Wi-Fi, you turn off the cellular because your Wi-Fi is stronger for whatever data means. You're watching YouTube videos, whatever it is, and then you get in the car and you start driving away, and whatever it is that you were listening to disappears, and that's when you realize, oh yeah, I got to turn that cellular back on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I do there. And what else you got? Oh, there was you brought something up about what the hell did you bring up earlier? It was about cellular Wi-Fi calling, the Wi-Fi calling thing. Yeah. And you just touched on that a little bit. I've never even used Wi-Fi calling, but I suppose, and there are some people I know that use nothing but Wi-Fi calling. They literally don't even have a cellular plan. They've got a cell phone and they turn on their Wi-Fi calling. If they're home, they've got Wi-Fi. If they're on the road, they don't care. And otherwise, they get to their public, wherever it is, coffee shop or otherwise, and they can answer their texts and phone calls or whatever they want to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And no charge to them, so that's a thing.
Yeah, Wi-Fi calling, I know a couple people that didn't know that it was an option, particularly my grandmother. She was struggling all the time with having to go outside on her porch whenever she wanted to make phone calls with people that she wanted to talk to, because it would just drop inside the house. So once she had Wi-Fi calling turned on, it actually helped a lot with that issue, and she actually could have a conversation in her house at that point, which was kind of a big deal.
Nice.
So it can make a huge difference for people that live in areas where the cell tower service is just not so good.
And that same situation, though, will apply. You turn on Wi-Fi calling, and you still have your cellular turned on. Mm-hmm. You could still wrestle with the idea of the Wi-Fi versus the cellular being what's engaged, right?
Yeah, it depends on what your phone's going for.
So if your phone reception is all of a sudden you can't get the calls for one reason or another, again, turn off your cellular or turn off your Wi-Fi and try each one.
And test it out. Yeah, it's a good test case. And all of those settings are inside the Wi-Fi and network area of your phone settings, so that's something you can dig into. It depends on the model where the settings are. You could be on an iPhone, you could be on an Android, but they do have them. If you look down and scroll through, just look for those keywords that we mentioned.
And that's important to note. iPhone and Android both have these features.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, another thing is...
Good morning, Lumine, I think it is.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning from YouTube. Nice to see you. Okay. Another thing?
Yeah. So, say same person's trying to get on YouTube or something in the morning. Mm-hmm. And the cellular in that area is really not so great, so they have Wi-Fi on at all times. But the Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be very good either. So the speed test functionality that you can search online on a browser, you can actually utilize this functionality to see in your household where you're getting the best speeds. If you're having issues, say if you're loading it up in your living room and you couldn't get it to work, but if you went to your kitchen, everything worked just fine. You can actually turn on and open up your browser, whether you be on an iPhone or an Android. This goes for both of those phones again. And you can type in speed test in your browser and open up the first result. Either Ookla is a good website. I think it's speedtest.net. And then if you're using Google, Google has its own built-in one up on the top when you search it that you just press start on. And it usually gives you a pretty accurate reading of if your speed test is good in that particular room or if it's kind of mediocre and you're not really getting
speed test
good stuff.
And I could be wrong about this, but I've always felt, because Ookla, Ookla, I get the impression that they're in bed with Xfinity.
I have heard that too, so you gotta be careful of
Comcast,
that.
Xfinity, Ookla. So if you're on an Xfinity service, if that's who's providing your wireless, and you're testing with them, and I have experienced that personally when we were a Comcast subscriber ourselves.
Really?
And their speed was showing, mind-bogglingly faster than the speed test that was showing up with Google, and I felt like that the Google speed test was the realistic one because our speeds were slow. In fact, do you mind if we just test that real quick?
Are you still, you don't
I'm not on
it.
Comcast, but I'm still curious if their speeds come in at the same kind of numbers.
Well, let's show people.
All right.
Absolutely.
If you could lower us for a second, I'll bring this over.
There we go.
All right. And go ahead and just type in speed test to go to Google speed test.
Interesting. We got a little bit of a thing on the bottom.
What do we have?
Oh, on our window there. All right. It's a speed test.
Oh, is that a new Google thing?
No, I was saying on our picture.
The
camera might be tilted a little bit.
Oh, you gotta maybe zoom in a little bit or something like that. It's angled a little bit to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mind that slice off to our left.
All right.
Just put it out of your minds.
So this is your Google speed test. We're using Google Chrome in this case. If you want to find this and you're using a different browser with a different search engine, you can still do this by going to Google and typing Google in your search engine and then clicking on google.com, then typing speed test.
Yeah,
so that gives you
and it's always a blue button. It's always that bright blue button, so that kind of stands out.
Yeah, so When you click on that bright blue button, it will start calculating what your speed, your internet speed is. And it takes a minute to get your download and your upload speed.
And that's not as high as, no, that's really.
Yeah.
So
for Ethernet.
That's, what is that? What's going on with my, oh, you know what, I might be doing a backup or something like that right now. Because the bandwidth, those are very good numbers. Quite frankly, a person could survive with only 10% of that download. But that is, I thought we were going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
All right. So that is 201. See, I would have expected we were getting about the same numbers, upload and download. So I'm going to investigate that on my end. It could be that we're doing a backup, and the backup goes across the network sometimes and can hog the bandwidth. I'm not sure. Still, great numbers, no complaints, and we won't get away from the actual reason we're doing this.
Yes.
All right, go to Comcast now. Go to Ookla or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then real quick, just to touch on it for people that are taking a look, it does say right there your internet connection is very fast, but for people that aren't really sure what these numbers mean, what would you say is a good internet speed, and what would you say is getting to the
Okay, so historically I have found if you're getting, believe it or not, 20 megabytes per second download, then you have no problem watching your Netflix videos and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. So for people who, they're offering you this much and this much and this much, and they're just numbers and you don't know whether you should be doing that or not, as long as you can go to a speed test and get 20 or better. Now, if you've got multiple people in your household, then it becomes a different thing. Now, instead of one person watching Netflix, you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, then you need more bandwidth. And frankly, I'm going to even go back on that. You can have 10 megabytes per second for one person, no problem.
I have seen that too,
No problem. I think 3 or 4 megabytes per second is the breaking point where you actually clearly notice things starting to break down. So, but the more people that you have, then the more that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And the upload speed, which is that number on the right, it's just so you have some idea what is that all about. That's if you like what we're doing right now, streaming. That's all upload. The data is coming from us, and it's going out into the world. So if you're going to, if you were uploading a video from your local computer to cloud storage, or you're sending something somewhere else, or you're streaming something, then upload speed becomes very important.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we'll try out that one.
Yeah, let's try out. Let's see what Ookla's got going on. So we had 200 and 800. All right, here we are.
Yep, so speedtest.net, and you just click this big go button. Don't click on all of the ads that come up.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
How did they get away with that? Do you notice the delay?
Yeah.
And so, because we have software in-house that's supposed to help block those things. Allow while visiting the site. No, never allow, right? And I think what happened is that they're getting smarter and they're persistent. So if they get shut down on load time, those ads are reattempting in the background to display.
Lumion says the slice does not exist.
How about that?
Oh, interesting. So
on Ookla, boy, they should be ashamed of themselves for all this advertising, honestly. So 427. So twice as we're twice as fast on Ookla than we are on Google. So that makes me want to go back to Google.
Yeah.
And see if that was a hiccup.
Go ahead and click on that button again.
How about that?
Isn't that interesting?
Didn't see that coming, I'm getting.
Oh.
So somewhere in that mix are the real numbers. Now, Windows has a speed test. I wouldn't have known about that if it wasn't for one of their many advertisements that popped up in front of us a minute ago.
That said they had one?
Yeah.
I typically don't want to install software like that on my computer, though, just because of the fact that you can go to the website and you have to suffer through all the Black Friday ads, but at the very least you don't have some software on the computer that may or may not have permissions to
Right,
get
right,
advertising
right.
data from you anyway.
So we're consistently getting twice as high as